Okay.
You got it thing?
Yep.
Okay. And now I'm going to go to live on YouTube.
Okay.
There's multiple steps involved in this.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go back. Back. Nope, can't get on.
Not gonna happen.
No,
Still goes to Tom's account, huh?
it sent a code of verification. It said it couldn't get on from my account. And it sent a verification code to Tom's account. So I'll record this meeting and post it later, like I did the other one.
Okay.
So we are recording, gentlemen. Is that correct?
We are.
All right. Once again, hello, stargazers, members, new possible members. Welcome aboard our weekly Monday morning podcast and blog of the SBAU Astro Hour. This is episode 63. We've done a year and almost 3 months of these, watchable on YouTube normally. At the moment, we are recording and will be on YouTube later for replay. And we are the South Coast Longtime Telescope and Astronomy Club. I'm Baron Ron Heron, proud to be vice president and your host. It's called the Santa Barbara Astronomical Unit, featuring our brain trust on the screen, live from our computer dens and man caves. You can find us on sbau.org and learn how to join us and come to meetings. And sooner or later, we'll be assembling at the Museum of Natural History. It's from May 9th through the 15th, a recap of headlines, some recent outreaches, including over the weekend. We had a Friday night meeting and a great speech. The variable star of the month we'll talk about, as well as the nebula of the week. There's a lunar eclipse coming up next weekend, Leo the Lion, and our waxing moon. The planets you can watch, some with the naked eye, are our waxing moon, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and Mars. And what man-made object did Ingenuity, the little helicopter that could on Mars, just photograph? And it wasn't Perseverance, the lander. Let's meet the gentleman, shall we? President Jerry Wilson is now in control. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Pat Forgy is, I think, still working, isn't she? Or is she working out of the house, just like you used to?
Yeah.
Okay. Man's working on his house and is working on his own observatory. Here is our incredible outreach coordinator, Chuck McPartland, man behind
morning.
Successful Saturday out at Camino Real, the marketplace. Is that where it was Saturday?
That's correct.
Get a report from you. And his wife is the merchandise manager, Pat. If she's around, I might ask her about a couple things here in a minute, right after you do your outreach report, Chuck. And
Okay.
it's Captain Sourdough, Tom Whittemore.
Hi, good morning.
Making bread, former Westmont College science instructor. Thank you for joining us.
Yep.
We are
Morning.
retooled and we're still assembling on Monday morning, gentlemen. Jerry, do you think you have the ability, if you can't get us on YouTube right off, and we'll work on that, can you call up your 2 cartoons you sent us? Our recent forwarded silly science cartoons. One of them is called Half and Half, and the other is labeled Genius.
Yeah.
Just throw it on the screen and I'll describe it. Have a little levity to kick off. He's doing it. Nope. Aha. We're going through the process together.
See that?
Nope. Just a black page.
Uh-oh.
I may have to describe them again to get this down. Aha. Well, I'll get you prepared. Maybe I'll tell you anyway. If you want it forwarded to you,
It says my screen share is paused. I don't know how I did that.
Well,
So let me stop sharing and try again.
I'm sure glad you're going through the same stuff I go through all the time with my technology. Half and half was the pissed off guy in his living room, perhaps appears. Oh, no. This is the guy sitting on the park bench. I'm sorry.
How's this?
Oh, no, that was last week. So we didn't get it.
I read
Prelude,
it.
This is an old one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from last week.
prelude to an intergalactic war. There's a couple of fishermen. Guess who comes from outer space? The aliens are fish people. And they're not happy. And who is that's not is that Larson, Far Side?
No, looks like it's Campion or something.
Anybody remember VIP, Virgil Parch, in the old days? His
No.
cartoons with big long noses. Playboy magazine ran a lot of his stuff. See what else you can call up.
Okay.
Prelude to an intergalactic war. That should go in Field and Stream. Well, maybe next week we'll get half and half.
No, I can get this.
All right. It's coming, folks. Trust us. Gonna get this down and be so slick. Ah, that's an old one.
It's an old one too? Okay.
That was
It's a good one.
Tim Crawford bought a new telescope and his wife asked him, how much was it? And he's been doing everything in the house. Looks kind of like Tim Crawford, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's one of our regulars. Bruce Murdoch is recovering from an accident, and we wish him well.
So
Well,
is Tim.
Uh,
Tim hurt his knee at the outreach on Saturday.
Yeah, on his drummer's chair.
Oh my God. Here it is. This is the pissed off guy sitting on the park bench. Appears to be only half affected, only partially covered with animal hair and fang tooth, telling the gentleman seated next to him in the park bench, boy, there's nothing more embarrassing than being a werewolf during a partial lunar eclipse. You know what? That will not be the case Sunday, we hope. I don't know where you find these, Mr. President, but some of them are outrageously funny. Others,
Sort of find me.
yeah, they find you okay. You know the president's email address. Forward all the silly stuff. Can you get the genius one? Or is it?
I don't recall sending that, but I will.
Well, it was kind of silly, but I thought it might be interesting for you guys because it involved kitty cats with solar panels strapped to them.
Oh, yes. I'll have that one ready for next week.
Okay. Your talking points were set out. We'll get to it here in a minute. I'm going to jump around on them and try to put all the planets in the sky together and their variable star and what I'm going to call the nebula of the week. But I wanted to recap real quickly, gentlemen. Friday night, I thought was a success. Thank God we got our replacement last minute. It was the 6th of May. We had our 4th online general meeting for SBAU using the Natural History Museum Zoom account. We thanked them. Guest speaker was Dr. Timothy Brandt, doing a great talk on dark matter. Professor Brandt is guiding last month's speaker in April, Marek Brandt, young man with the same last name but no relation, toward his doctorate in astronomy someday. Tim is now an honorary member by his own request. And I think I'll add our kick off the outreach summary with Chuck McPartland by saying, our astronomy club received a large map of the moon as a prize, being one of a handful of clubs in America that won.
Well, it's not a large map of the moon. It's just a fold out laminated sheet that's maybe 3 8x11s, you know, and it gives a map of the moon with numbered craters, and then you can look up the number in subsequent text, and it'll tell you, you know, the diameter of the crater, the name, and things like that.
Is it both sides of the moon?
Here. No, it's just the visible side of the moon here.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Now your wife, the merchandise manager, Pat, had something to do with winning this?
Well, we're in a group called the Night Sky Network that was set up by NASA JPL and the Astronomical Society of the Pacific. And it's 400 clubs, over 400 clubs all across the US. And they provide outreach materials like some of the star maps that we hand out. And we log our activities with them because they want to keep track of astronomy outreach. And periodically they'll say, okay, you know, for everybody who logged events between January and March, we're going to do a prize drawing, and they give out something. And usually it's to about a dozen of the clubs.
Okay. Well, I found our name there and I was very impressed. Is that going to go on display at your house, or could we use
Well,
it?
that's going to get used at outreaches.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Did you take your 5-pound meteorite that you do your little jazz talk and the nickel and Vegas and dirt?
Yes, I did.
Older than dirt. Okay. How did it go Saturday?
Saturday, it went well. We were sharing the space with the Art Walk people who were doing a Mother's Day event, and also they were raising funds for Gersh Park. And they were on the sidewalk part, and we were in the pit, you know, in the little plaza area there by the theater at Camino Real Marketplace. And we had, I think it was 480 people during the day and 390 people in the evening.
800. And somebody was counting?
Yep. Janet has a little clicker. We give her a little clicker and she goes through and counts. And then when she goes to lunch, she passes it off to somebody else. So we keep track of how many people come. We used to be a little more, a little less rigorous in that we just said, boy, how many people do you think came? And we'd go around everybody that was there, and then we'd take an average.
Yeah.
And Tom Whittemore was there. How many of our other members, Brain Trust and regular?
We had a pretty good turnout. Tessa was there, Tom Totten. Jim Williams came down from Lompoc and ran the handicap accessible telescope.
John Boyd.
John Boyd with his solar stuff. And he's the person who the pictures on our latest bookmark are from. He's our solar expert, sort of. And Chrissy was there both in the morning and the night. And of course, Martin and Janet and Jerry was there. Tom was there.
Well, I got to tell you, all the
Yeah.
emails we got from you before the event lamented the fact that you didn't have any people volunteering.
Right. People didn't respond.
They just showed up.
But that's all right. That's the way it usually is. The only thing I was hoping somebody would respond with a way for us to haul the UC2, the handicap telescope equipment out there. But I ended up just renting a U-Haul van and loading all the tables and chairs and awnings.
Send in your receipt from the U-Haul and we'll take care of it.
Yes.
So we did find something very interesting with our equipment, since it was during the day and I had solar scopes set up. Those of us that had a hydrogen alpha scope from Lunt, which there were about a half a dozen of them there, maybe slightly less than that, 5. But there's a filter inside. All of them had been stored, I found out, from before COVID. And so mine hadn't been out of the case or used in at least 2 years. We found out that a filter toward the back end had developed some kind of a crystalline deposit or fungus deposit or something on it. And some people had noticed it earlier and attempted to clean it, but it doesn't work very well. But if you go to, there is a thread on cloudy nights that discusses this problem. Apparently it's common. And if you inform Lunt about it, they will send you a replacement filter with instructions how to install it. So I started the email train for me Saturday afternoon. So,
And that was also a problem with the older Coronado H alpha scopes.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Lunt used to make those. And then Coronado was bought out by Meade. Yeah, Meade telescopes.
I think you're right there.
Yeah, and the ones that were manufactured by Meade had that same problem almost immediately, and they were calling it rust. But apparently the pre-Meade ones were better. I'll have to go check mine. It's been in storage for quite a while.
Yeah.
Are you saying that telescopes get cataracts? Is that what happened there?
That's sort of what's going on.
I did.
Okay. Incidentally, I want to tell you a quick story. A friend of mine that I see a lot is a historian named Mike Hardwick. He knows you and you probably know him. I see him every Sunday. We had coffee together. He actually went up to the museum on Friday night thinking that's where we were going to meet. And he called me. I don't know if you heard me trying to tell him I'm on the air. And he apologized later. He didn't realize I was telling him we're going to be meeting Friday. And I thought I said virtual. In fact, I'm sure I did. He just didn't hear it, Zoom. nevertheless, he went home and watched us, and his big take on Tim Brandt's speech was the star clusters. And I kind of wondered myself how it tied in with the dark matter, but we'll get into that some other day. Shall we talk about the planets in the sky that we're going to be watching, the night sky, and we'll talk later about the meteor shower, the Eta Aquariid, and the lunar eclipse, and take you to Mars and stuff like that. But
Which planet do you want to talk about?
say again?
Which planet do you want to talk about?
Well, I guess there's four main ones. Saturn and Venus, are they going to be close, or is it?
Saturn and Vesta.
Oh, Saturn and Vesta, all right.
Yeah, Jupiter and Venus.
Jupiter and Venus are going to get right close together, aren't they?
No, they were already.
They were, yeah.
That's
So,
right.
so Ron, about 5 in the morning, yesterday morning, I saw the clustering planets in the eastern sky before the sun came up. You can see clearly that, Venus has moved closer and closer to the sun. So now, which you see is a beautiful alignment of Venus on the left, Jupiter in the middle, and then Mars on the right. And when I looked at them, I couldn't quite get Saturn, but I know it's out there near Mars, And then Chuck, don't forget, on a Saturday, he had Venus in his telescope during the daytime. People really like that.
You got up early to see this?
Oh yeah, I got Maureen up too. It's a beautiful, beautiful alignment of the planets. You can really see how the ecliptic lies really low in the eastern sky because it logs in right with those planets. It comes in just like that. It's beautiful, really pretty. And I've been watching the planets pretty much every morning. I just get up because I bake bread early. And just watching, and it was really fun to watch Venus move to the left, to the left, to the left, and going by all these planets. But now Venus
Saturn,
is alone there. It's kind of alone on the left.
Yeah, and Saturn is kind of alone out on the right. It's been left
That's
behind
right.
by the other
That's
guys.
right, Chuck. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
out there by Dina Balgetti, I guess.
That's right. Yeah. So they're hanging out in Capricorn, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the talking points say inside Pisces in the east, for Jupiter anyway, and they're the circlet asterism, and east of Saturn and Mars, which are, let's see, rise early and higher. Jupiter glows at magnitude minus.
Mhm. Very bright. Very bright.
Can you see the share here?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can see how Saturn is way to the right of the others.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
But you see how the three there, how nicely lined up they are.
Well, Venus didn't even make it on this one. It's,
I see that. I can now see that, Chuck.
time for a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. The only planets that go retrograde are the ones inward from the sun, right?
no,
They don't
No.
ever reverse when they're outer planets, the gas giants. for
yes, they
example.
do.
They
That
do?
was the whole thing. Retrograde motion of planets like Mars were the big, thing for doing the Ptolemaic system.
Why would they stop and go the other direction?
They don't. We pass them on an inner
We pass-
circle, and so it's just an apparent motion.
Just like on the freeway, when you pass a slower car, it looks like that car is going backwards compared to you.
There you go. Okay, that explains it. That's
Yeah, and
weird.
Ron, the most spectacular is Mars.
Yeah.
The most spectacular retrograde motion is really Mars.
Is it really? And they all do it, including the clear out to Neptune?
Yes. So all the planets will do it.
Well, I thought it had something to do with the inward planets, which are Venus and Mercury, go in one direction and then they go around the other side of the sun and they reverse. That's not the same concept, is it? It's us overtaking it.
It's still relative motion, but yeah, it's kind of a different effect.
Yeah. Okay. Pick and choose stuff to talk about. You want to go to any of the general stuff or talk about upcoming lunar eclipses on Sunday, for example, Saturday and Sunday? You're all going to be out watching that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, we have an outreach for Sunday on the 15th, again at Community Rail Marketplace from 7 to 10 p.m. to watch the total lunar eclipse.
Aha.
And then of course on the Saturday before, it's the second Saturday at the museum. So that's our big public star party there every month.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I learned something from Jerry's talking points. Lunar is slower than a solar eclipse. This is going to last for 1 hour and 23 minutes.
This one's an unusually long one, I understand.
Why would that be? What's
Just
I don't
depends on the relative orbital positions.
Yeah.
okay? So it starts what time? Sunday evening?
Yes.
Well, I made a little puzzle for you here on the times of the eclipse. Sometimes when I do this, I fall into my own trap. But this shows the times for the eclipse, but it's in Argentina time.
Oh,
And Argentina is at 3 time zones from the universal time zone. See at
Right.
UTC 3. So you take away 5 from it and you get our times here, because we're in UTC 8. We're 8 time zones from the universal time.
so 5 from 2327 would be about 1827,
Uh-huh.
8:30, almost 8:30 it starts, right?
Yeah.
That's good timing. And then it'll go an hour and 23
That's a
minutes.
nice one for viewing from America.
Say
So
that
Chuck,
again.
is it right that the moon comes up eclipsed as the sun goes down this time?
The moon comes up in the penumbral phases,
Okay, okay,
but we'll be able to see all the umbral phases.
Yeah.
okay. And it's in Libra. So for folks at home watching this, look to the southeast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is a great opportunity for photographs. You can set a camera up. You don't need a telescope.
Right.
A chase lounge and binoculars, or just a camera, regular camera with a telephoto lens on it. And you can just set it up and fix it and take multiple exposures and then add them together later as the moon moves through and changes its phases. Get a lot of really interesting stuff that way. It is a very different exposure time though, because the moon does get fairly dark when it gets eclipsed.
Funny, I used to think that it disappears and goes black, but it never does. It's still kind of there.
It is there, yeah. It's in our
Yeah.
shadow.
Wonderful coppery glow, Ron. And to me, during lunar eclipses, the moon really looks like a ball. It's just really beautiful,
It's sometimes called a blood moon, and it used to be a myth that it portends war. But since our ancestors were always having wars, there was a high correlation with that.
Of course, nowadays that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yeah. In case you didn't notice, our outreach coordinator is in front of a Ukrainian flag.
Mhm.
Okay, sounds good, gentlemen. Thank you. And I'm going to go to the breaking story, if you don't mind, just because it's kind of interesting. A
Hey,
breaking.
let's do one more picture before we do that.
Okay, go for it. You going to throw it up? Here it comes. Ah, boy, they are close.
This was on May 1st.
Yeah. Is this about a week ago, huh?
Yeah,
Mhm.
very dramatic. Taken by
Yeah.
an amateur. Oh, I didn't
Yes.
copy his name. Okay.
You think they'll occult each other?
No,
No,
this already happened, Ron, and that's as close as they got.
yeah.
I looked at this in my binoculars. It was really nice, really nice.
And there are no occultations by them in at least the next 10 years or so of predicted planetary occultations.
Okay, it's first
They
time
just
I've ever
missed.
heard. First time I've heard that. Venus is the brightest object and Jupiter is second,
Besides
Yep.
the moon, yeah.
Yep.
besides the moon. Oh, okay, third then. Got it. Well, updates on Perseverance came over, and the Ingenuity, which is the little two-blade, two-rotor helicopter that's going like a son of a gun. It spins faster than any helicopter on Earth, and kind of a Mars drone, showing the latest NASA rover's discarded parachute on
Yeah.
the Martian surface. Would you be able to call that up, Mr. President?
Yes.
Because that's got to be seen. Landed on February 18th, 2021, a little over a year ago.
Yeah, that photo was in the New York Times last week. It's pretty neat.
There was a fellow that showed up on Saturday that was asking me, he said he saw somewhere on Facebook that the the little helicopter got a picture of some alien craft that had landed on Mars.
You see,
It wasn't that, it was,
is it shared now?
Yes.
Okay, it kind of looks like the turret of a Russian tank, but
Yeah.
That's a parachute?
yeah,
Yeah.
parachute's in upper right. Parachute's up here.
Oh, I see. What's that on the lower left?
This is the back
The
shield.
back shell.
And this is, see, there's a cord going all the way over there and out to the parachute.
Got it.
Yeah, it was
That's
encapsulated, and then this is the part that was still attached to both the lander and the parachute before it dropped away.
Mhm.
Yeah, that sort of has something similar to what happened on Titan, the Saturnian moon, when the Huygens probe landed. You could see the shadow of that parachute landing,
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
even though that little moon is covered with thick hair and way out there. I didn't know how they saw it, but there you go. Fascinating. Don't have anything on the web, but it's up and running pretty much, isn't it? The Webb telescope.
They're getting ready to take
Yeah.
science data.
the latest news, we covered that last week with images from all 4 cameras and the alignment, showing the alignment and the star patterns they've got. So they're still doing some calibrations, and then they'll be launching on scientific data. Let's see, that was May 1st, about July 1st, late June.
So testing for the next couple of months.
They're doing calibrations, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, every time we turn around, we all probably ought to have a meteor shower of the week or the month or something. This was the Aquariid, Eta Aquariid.
Yeah.
Peaked early last Friday, but still active till the end of May, all due to the dust and debris of Halley's Comet,
Mhm.
which our planet's going through right now. Also does so in October, the Orionids, also Halley's Comet, and produces some of the zodiacal light that we talked about several episodes ago, that dusky evening cone-shaped glow in the sky. Did you get a picture of that in your talking points, Jer?
I think just
Here
of
it
one of the meteors. Yeah.
mhm.
Oh, one of the meteors.
Yeah,
Just a side point, apparently he pronounced his name Hawley.
Oh, he did. Holly's.
Yeah.
Hallie did.
They weren't really consistent in spelling back in those days, and a couple of times his name was spelled Hawley.
I see.
Okay,
I've often wondered about that. Yeah.
so here's a nice Eta Aquariid captured from Tucson, Mexico, New Mexico, Tucson, Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah, that's where I went to school, Jerry.
That's a saguaro cactus.
Saguaro, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the state flower is the beautiful blossom that blossoms at the top of the saguaro.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's it right there?
That's a cactus.
The saguaro cactus is there, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is an Aquariid meteor flashing straight down from the radiant.
Okay. Didn't say where the radiant was, in which house of the zodiac.
It's in Aquarius. That's why it's
In
Aquarius.
Aquarius,
Yeah,
I think it's water jar too. So.
Yeah, the
What-
water jar was in there up above the saguaro.
And what's the Eta stand for? ETA-Aquariid.
Eta Aquarii is the star that is closest to the radiant point.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, gotcha. And it adds to the zodiacal light?
Well, that's just, that's dust. So comets
is.
add to that.
All right, well, but that's not dust we're going through as a planet. It's always up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
so this is the bullseye is the radiant of the Aquariid meteor shower.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
Mm,
I remember that. Didn't you have this picture before?
Yeah, this is from last week.
Ah. That's not Santa Barbara's skyline, is it?
No. Well, I don't know. This is a mythical skyline that's provided
Oh.
by the commercial software, the Sky 6. And this is how it looks at 4 in the morning on May 6th last week. So it'll be a little higher. It's rising a little bit higher this week at the same time.
And the red circle in the very middle, what is that?
That's
That's the radiant point.
that's
It'll
the-
be the radiant rock.
That's where it comes from.
yes.
Yeah, near Eta Aquarii.
Does that mean the Earth is heading that direction toward that? To be in its tail?
Sort of.
Sort of. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
And Ron, Eta is past tense for Eta.
But now, how close would,
It's a three grown.
Thanks, Jerry.
how close did Halley's comet get to us to leave? I guess the tail goes for billions of miles, millions of miles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just happened to go through where it was. It didn't come near the Earth.
You can look at it as the tail is a closed loop, closed ellipse.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
I saw that comet back in 1986 in Tucson.
Did you?
It was okay. It was not like Hail Bob.
Yeah.
It was okay.
In 1910, it came really close, but
Yeah. When people were selling cyanide pills and all this other stuff.
gas mask because we're going to pass through the tail and it was full of noxious.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now, recent comets that we've seen reportedly have two tails. Halley.
often comets have two tails, Ron.
Okay, why don't they all?
They
They
may,
all probably do. It's just whether it's visible or not.
right?
One might go exactly out from the sun if you drew a straight line, and the other, follows the path that the comet is taking, you suppose, and it's a little different.
One of them is just, nuclei, basically ionized gases, and they're not very massive, and so they're not affected as much by gravity. And the other one is dust that's affected a little more by the gravity plus the solar wind.
And some of them have three tails. They develop
Mhm.
a tail when they're headed right for the sun, and the hottest part of the comet head is the leading edge. It'll make a little volcano and shoot out some debris.
Yeah, and often the tail is fan shaped, and from certain aspects you see it on both sides of the comet, so that shows as an anti-tail too.
Mhm.
And depending on its size, all comets have a little bit of gravity, so they wouldn't let loose of a big rock, would it? It'd just be dust up to a few microns.
They can let loose some chunks. Some comets are famous for fireballs.
Mhm.
Really?
The meteor showers that are associated with them.
Wasn't there an asteroid recently that was being orbited by a satellite, and they saw what they thought were mysterious star patterns in the background, but they changed frequently, and so they realized they were pebbles being thrown off the asteroid?
That was either Bennu or one of the ones that the Japanese
Yeah.
Ryugu or Bennu,
Yeah.
Why would it be throwing pebbles off?
because it's rotating.
Oh, of course, I knew that. I was just testing you. That,
Also,
anybody,
there's an effect that happens on the moon too with the solar bombardment of protons, the solar wind. The protons charge everything on the ground that it hits positively because the protons are positive charge. And that sets up a negative or a repulsive force between a mobile object, just like a dust grain or a pebble, and the surrounding ground that's not moving. So it can lift the stuff up. On the moon, it lifts it up a little bit into a layer, but on an asteroid, it can throw it off into space.
heck, we get meteorites from Mars from crater impacts, don't we?
Yes.
Yep.
They hit that fast and that hard. Anybody seen the Leo DiCaprio movie, Don't Look Up?
Yes.
You saw it?
Yeah.
There's a message there, isn't there?
It's a very satirical, tongue-in-cheek movie. If you've ever dealt with the government and bureaucracy, it brings back a lot of latent frustration.
I have a feeling a lot of the deniers know it's true of global warming. They're just not going to admit they're wrong. You'll never hear them say, "Oh, you guys are right. I'm sorry. We better."
Yeah, I think there's a strong sense of that. I used to know some people in high school that were flat earthers, and I knew them well enough to know that that was completely tongue-in-cheek. I didn't know anyone that actually believed it. But also, people can tell when someone is telling them something that they don't want to hear. They know exactly where it's going, so they just throw debris in your way semantically to get you to stop, because they know where you're going, and they know they don't have any defense against it, and they know you're going to the right place. So the intensity with which they obfuscate you is an indicator of how well they know what the truth is.
Well, it's an interesting time, gentlemen. You want to talk variable star of the month, the Hydrae? Hydrae, how in the world do you pronounce that?
Hydrae.
Hydrae, V Hydrae. I'm not sure what the V means.
Oh, I was looking at Hygiea.
V means it's a variable star, Ron. It starts with R, S, T, U, V.
Right. So I guess number
Okay.
5.
From our favorite, are we members of the American Association of Variable Star Observers? We're talking about-
But
I
some,
used to be.
yeah.
All right, well, every month, I guess we get one, and for the merry month of May, it's V Hydrae, magnitude 10. Star comes with cosmic smoke rings, blown away gas around it. 2 hours after sunset, it's 25 degrees above the south horizon in the long constellation Hydra, the water snake.
It's the biggest constellation in the sky, actually.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the snake. It goes around and around, doesn't it? Sort of.
No,
Well,
that's
anyway.
Draco the dragon.
Oh,
But V Hydrae is also very, very red. It's another nice carbon star.
oh, okay. Really? Carbon as in red. It's red giant or red dwarf?
It's probably a red giant here, judging from what we're talking about.
Excuse me a second. I got to answer the door.
Okay, well, V Hydrae lies about 5 degrees south of magnitude 3 New Hydrae. Is that a star?
Yes.
Okay. Not sure what the different, what does NU mean?
It's a Greek
The
letter.
Greek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Use-
Ron, anytime you see a capital letter and then the constellation name, okay, that indicates a variable star. And like Chuck said, they start out with capital R, they go capital S, T, U, V. So this one must have been the 5th one that they located or talked about in Hydra, the sea snake.
And we don't switch it over to English?
No, that's just the system astronomers started up, probably early 1900s is my guess, if not the late 1800s.
So are there other numbered Hydraes out there?
Letter,
Oh,
you mean?
Sure.
No, I mean stars that have Hydrae as the second word.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Ron, that just means of Hydra. So it's the
They're
genitive.
stars. Yeah, they're stars within that constellation.
Mhm.
Well, now there's a nearby crater constellation.
Yeah.
That's what it said in
Crater
the
the cup. Mhm.
crater. Okay.
It's a cup.
It's-
Corvus the crow, both the cup and the crow are sitting on the back of the water snake.
Mhm.
for some reason I missed that one. Crater to me is something you see on a planet or a moon.
Well,
No, no.
because it's cup shaped.
Right. So Ron, yeah, the Latin word for cup is crater. Crateris is a third declension word.
Really? All those cups
Mhm.
on the moon. We have a cup that we sometimes give to our speakers.
Baseball players wear one.
That's true. You're that kind of cup, gentlemen. Well, our variable V Hydrae, now what makes it variable? That means it's like Cepheid?
Yeah, I would, no, I say it's a Myra type, like Chuck mentioned, it's probably a red giant, It might be undergoing some shell burning of hydrogen, and so it looks real red. And I haven't looked at Jerry's chart yet, but my guess is the periodicity of the star might be upwards of 1 year, I just guess.
1.5.
Okay. That's a big star, Chuck.
Yeah.
Magnitude 1.5, really?
Oh, no,
No, 1.5 year period for the
years,
variation.
yeah.
Oh, years, okay.
So that's a real slow breather there. But magnitude, Ron, don't forget, you need a telescope, series telescope to see it.
Is
And it
Betelgeuse,
says it has an overlying 18-year period.
Okay.
between the time it's expanded and it's back small again? Is that what you're saying?
Plus also debris orbiting around it.
Mhm.
Half my screen went dark. But
Oh.
that's- As long as I'm up there on the right. But is Betelgeuse a variable?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Can you see the
It's
final
also a
chart I
carbon
put up?
Yeah, it looks real good now, Jerry.
Okay,
Okay, V Hydrae's on there.
yeah, it's in the bullseye.
Oh. How many Hydraes are there?
Depends how deep you look.
Yeah. All these stars in that area are hydrates of one type or another.
That helps. At least it's not a phone number, as Neil deGrasse Tyson says.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
this star,
all got phone number type IDs on them too.
the sort of orangey yellow star up and right, just above the little info box,
Mm-hmm,
is Alphard. That's kind of the heart of the sea snake.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's visible to the naked eye, easily.
Mhm. You can see on the, if you can read the legend box, it says other ID for this star. It's HIP 53085.
Oh, so it does
It's
have a phone.
Hipparchus.
Hipparchus catalog.
Magnitude 7, probably at brightest.
And then down halfway down, you can see the alternate names. Then there's the ppm name. And then it goes on. There's a longer list than that, but they don't show all of them.
Mm-hmm.
What part of the sky are we looking at?
South.
That's
Mhm.
south, okay. Interesting.
You can see Corvus the Crow there, the great shopping cart in the sky.
That's pretty good.
If you put a time-lapse camera on one of these variables, you'd see the damn thing shrink.
That if you got a very fast variable, you would see it become less bright. But you would want to take a picture every night or every week or every month to really capture the curve of the light curve without putting yourself to sleep.
Are there stars that blink out and get so small we can't see them, and then they just come back to life later?
Yeah.
Are there variables
Oh,
that
sure. Yeah.
really?
Myra.
Yep.
Myra's like that?
Myra's probably the most famous one, Ron.
Did we cover
It is
Myra?
visible to the eye, and then it's not.
A couple months ago, we covered that. It comes up to, I think, third magnitude or something and goes
Yeah,
to 11th.
interesting, fascinating stuff. That's in the Crater constellation.
No, this one's in Hydra.
It's in.
I know, right there.
Ah, okay.
Crater is over here.
Oh, okay. It's too bad we don't have the forum around it, whatever.
And it's up there.
It's a cup, huh? On the screen, on the
Yeah,
interior. of the planet.
this isn't showing a very good diagram of it, but it is
Mhm.
cup shaped.
Mm-hmm.
More, it looks
Okay.
more like a vase, really. I mean, it's got a thick base, and then it's got the cup on above it, the cup part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good stuff. You want to switch to our nebula of the week? We've been talking about so many nebulas. Now, this has got a bunch of names, but the big one is the butterfly, also the bug nebula, or Caldwell 69. And NGC 6302 is another name it's given. Bipolar, just like an old girlfriend of mine. She was bipolar. Binary planetary nebula, 4,000 light years away, ladies and gentlemen, as Jerry gets ready to call this up.
It's beautiful.
Scorpius. And a very complex structure, apparently. Central star is small but hot. Do I get the impression it's 2/3 of the sun? 64% of the size of our sun, but
No, that's the size of the white dwarf that's remaining after in the center of it.
but it said it was 250,000 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, that's one hot puppy.
God knows what that would be in Fahrenheit.
Probably. Normally, a very hot star would be 60,000 degrees. This one's
Jeez.
200,000. So it got blast heated. But this is a planetary nebula. It's what happens to our something like our sun. But we see a lot of circular ones, and we discussed earlier, a couple months ago, that some of them are really quite different from looking like a bubble. And this is the most extreme of that. So I dug it up for this month.
Well, why do you suppose it's hourglass shaped? Why are there two things going away? Is it sort of like one of those pulsars?
It was something that changed the pattern of the outcome, or the ejecta there. Probably a very heavy dust ring around the planet or the star, and it blew out in these two lobes, or it could be the shape of the magnetic field that it had in it.
Or it could have a binary companion, although in this case, they don't think it does.
Right.
Mhm.
But if you looked at this from 90 degrees off from the edge, it would look more like a circular thing.
Yeah, right, depending on your point of view. But in the middle where they join, there's that small white dwarf. Can we see it?
In this picture, it looks like it's obscured by a disk of gas, so that's probably what channeled the outflow.
No, I'm saying, can you actually zero in and see a small white dwarf?
Well, look in this picture. You can see there's an opaque line there, right where it would be, and that's probably this disk that channeled the outflow.
But I'm trying to get a picture of the spread there. Is that thousands of light years across, or
Scale?
few?
Yeah,
Probably on the order of light years at most.
Really? All from one star. You'd think it would go out and those fans, those wings or whatever would go around other stars or interact with nearby stars.
Well, space is mostly empty.
yeah, that's why they call it space.
Why it's why it's called Butterfly Nebula. We get a nebula almost every week, so we could probably do Nebula of the Week.
They're pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Bipolar, that's what the double-sided means, I guess.
Yeah.
Hourglass
But
shape.
the nebulas that are mentioned on Star Trek, I'm never able to find those in a star catalog.
The ones on Star Trek.
Utara Nebula or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Other Star Trek movie coming
Well,
out.
actually, that comes from a Jerry Pournelle science fiction novel, I think, called The Mote in God's Eye.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The Mote in God's Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a science fiction story where there's this nebula that has structure in it like that.
Yeah. And they call the people that live there Modis.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like Ewoks. Fascinating stuff. Nothing more to say about that. Speaking of the moon, real quickly, I don't know, I'll just go through this real fast. It's waxing its way into the constellation Virgo, which holds asteroid 10 Hygiea. And
That's
it's,
later in the week, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
coming up
But it's up near Leo Tuesday night.
Right.
tomorrow night. It'll be in
Yeah.
Leo. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Be in
Yeah.
the-
Yesterday, I think, Ron, it was at first quarter. It's really high in the sky, first quarter.
Yeah. It's starting to cast so much light that I regard the 2 weeks around full moon as no camera time.
Just pull out your binoculars.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm carrying a Case Lounge for the meteor showers.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, is it going to occult that asteroid?
No.
Well, they're just going to come close. Let's see, Lambda Virginis, the
Mhm.
star, magnitude 4.5. That's how you find it anyway, 6 degrees southwest of it.
Okay.
Reflectivity, I learned a new word. I hope I can keep it.
To 10 Hygiea.
10 Hygiea, yeah. And albedo means reflectivity. There's a new term, a mere.
Fraction reflected. So albedo of 100 it reflects it. It's basically a mirror. Albedo of 10 means it reflects 10% of the light and would be a very dark object. This has an albedo of 0.07, which is a quite dark object, as the text says.
Which you said is 7%. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
0.07.
Okay, well then 10% would be 0.10 or 0.1.
Yes, that's right. So this is less than 10%.
I guess a star would be the only thing that's a full 1.00.
No, because it's not reflecting.
Yeah, it refers to like a black hole would be an identical zero.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
Chuck, isn't the albedo power of the moon something like 10 to 15%? Somewhere in there?
I thought it was 6%.
Oh, just 6. I know
Yeah.
it's supposed to be have the reflective power of asphalt.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
Newly laid pavement.
Yeah. Okay.
well, now wait a minute, using this standard, 6% would be 0.06.
That's right.
And the moon is Less than this? Less than this Vesta? Hygiea?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see. It's a reflective thing, even though it's brighter and bigger. It's gray or dirty, and yet we get a bright. It's amazing.
Yeah, let me look that up quickly to make sure that. But I think it was 6%. Oh no, it's 12. It's 12%.
Okay, so I thought it was between 10
Yeah.
and 15. Okay.
Yeah, you're right there.
Okay,
So
thanks.
0.12.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
I guess that makes sense. So nothing really is a 1.00. The left
A
of
mirror,
that's
like Jerry said, a mirror, a good mirror.
Yeah.
a good mirror would be. Okay.
A
All
perfect
right,
mirror.
you want to talk about a couple of stars before we close down in about 10 minutes? Vega and Epsilon Lyrae.
Yeah.
Double.
Double
Yeah.
bubble. A few hours after sunset.
Before we close on Hygiea, it is an asteroid. It's moving during May, and the motion is enough that you can take a picture one night with a regular camera lens, not even a telescope, and you can record motion of Hygiea.
Mhm.
You'll never find it using this star chart.
So that arrow on this picture is the path of this asteroid, right?
Mhm.
Yes, that's correct. And
Would it be fair to say that virtually all asteroids in the belt are somewhere near that line and nowhere else?
No,
Because there's a belt there, right?
somewhere near the ecliptic, but as you approach the Earth, we see them more in other parts of the sky.
Mhm.
and some of them have inclined orbits of quite a bit.
Right. They're mostly in the ecliptic, but as we get close to the part of the ecliptic where it's in, then we can resolve the ecliptic into a top and a bottom, and we see the asteroids apart from the ecliptic.
And it just, I take a look at the scale too, Ron. You see that 1 degree scale there. You can see that it's moving just ballpark a degree every 5 or so days, looks like.
Well,
And
go ahead.
then Jerry mentioned Lambda Virginis, which is up in the left-hand corner there. That's that Lambda.
Mhm.
Ron, do you see that way up in the left? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's Lambda Virginis. So
Okay.
that would be a jump-off star to find the Hygiea.
So this is moving about 2 full moon widths every day,
Yeah,
or
Okay.
every 5 days.
5 days. Yeah, those are 5-day blocks. Huh?
Yeah.
And that's the direction they'd be moving. It's
Yep.
they don't go in the same direction as the planets.
They do.
I thought the planets went right to left.
Well, you can't tell on this diagram in the sky how they go. Asteroids will also undergo retrograde motion too, just like planets.
Okay. Is the belt closer to Jupiter or closer to Mars, you suppose? Do they know?
It's between the two.
I know,
Yeah.
but Mars doesn't affect them that much, but Jupiter does, I understand, right?
Jupiter would have more effect, so it would probably tend to toss more away from its nearby areas.
Okay. But every so often one decides to come in and threaten us. How does it get kicked out of the belt?
They can interact with each other, or they can get a push from Jupiter.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, everything is not set and not necessarily stable. You know, just sort of declared a truce on each other because things are so far apart that they don't normally affect each other. But every now and then, a couple of bodies, maybe 3, will collect close together, and then one of them gets to be thrown out or speeded up or whatever.
Well, our outreach coordinator is an occulter. And have you occulted any? I know that you're a member of an occult.
Yeah.
Have you done one lately?
No, there's a dearth of them for May. I think there's only one coming up in May that's good. It's 100% chance from here, and it's on a day when I won't be able to observe it. So bummer.
Why? Why won't you be able to observe it?
Because we're going to travel on Memorial Day.
Oh, you are. Where are you going? You mind telling us? You don't
Just
have
down to Big Bear.
Oh, all right. So I'm imagining there's some sort of astronomical society that tracks not only all the debris around the Earth, that's one company or association, and then another one, kind of like the Variable Star Organization, tracks all those asteroids
Yeah,
and lets you know when there's going to be an occultation.
Well, IOTA, International Occultation Timing Association, goes after those, but the Minor Planet Center does the orbital calculations, and NASA.
yeah.
Have they got as many asteroids pegged and named as they do exoplanets? 5,000?
Oh, no, it's more like 600,000.
Oh my God, you're right. You really
And many more that are,
not,
there, but don't have established orbits yet.
they don't have established orbits.
Well, you have to see them, multiple times.
Okay,
We
but
discover hundreds and thousands of these things each year.
do you know the largest or the smallest, put it that way, that can be seen by a telescope would be what, a mile across or even smaller?
Well, it depends on the distance and the reflectivity. So,
When
Gotcha.
you get closer, they're easier to see.
yeah.
We've found one and plotted its path that it would hit the Earth 24 hours before it hit.
Yeah, and it was, I think, car-sized.
Yeah,
And there have been ones that have been found just before they hit from radar that are only about 1 meter across, so 3 feet.
How deep is the belt? Where does it start? How many millions? Is it millions of miles across? It wouldn't be that. Well, maybe
Yeah.
it would be.
It is, yeah.
It's
The
Okay.
average distance between asteroids is about 1 million miles.
No kidding? Well, I guess out that far, we're talking big real estate, aren't we?
Yeah.
Around the sun. Amazing stuff.
so you started talking about the double-double. So
Oh,
the double,
yeah. Yeah,
right,
where was that?
right in the middle next to Vega is Epsilon. See right there in the
Ah,
constellation Lyrae. And
right.
Lyrae has this nice little trapezoid right there, there, and there. And then Vega up here is the handle on it. And M57, the ring nebula, is right between these two stars down there. And they have represented the North American nebula over here next to Deneb in Cygnus, the goose.
Swan.
Long.
Walnut goose.
Yeah, long neck here, tail, wings.
And the beak is a nice, Alberio, the nice blue and yellow
Mhm.
Ukrainian star.
Yeah.
So it's two binaries that actually work out to be 4 stars.
That's Epsilon, yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
I was going to mention, Ron, that I see Vega come up in the northeast here about 9:30 roughly,
Mhm.
about 9:30 in the evening.
Is Vega the 5th brightest of all the stars?
It's actually something, yeah, in that neighborhood. In the northern hemisphere, it's the second brightest.
So often something sticks with me that I read. Separated by 3.5 arc minutes using binoculars.
Separate
Binary.
the double, yeah.
Well, what is bipolar? Does bipolar mean 4?
No, bipolar just means it has 2 axes to it or whatever. It has an axis of symmetry.
I'm sorry, you lost me. What an axis is a pole.
Right.
We spin on our axis. How could we have another one?
But bipolar means it has a symmetrical shape around an axis.
Yeah, the butterfly nebula is bipolar.
Oh,
It's 2 lobes.
everything has a axis, doesn't it? Isn't everything spinning? Is anything not spinning in space?
With angular momentum, yes, everything does. Every solid object does.
Wow. Okay, so where do you get these pictures, Jerry, that come out of Astronomy Magazine?
All over the place.
Okay.
I try to avoid sky and telescope but I didn't succeed on this one. I meant to substitute a sky 6 picture, but I didn't have time.
Vega and Epsilon Lyrae. How do you pronounce Lyrae?
Lyrae.
It is Lyrae, okay. And Epsilon, that's a common word. What is Epsilon? Is it one of the
Greek
letters?
letter.
It's a Greek letter.
Okay, so it's just like the NU we mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
Is tau a TAU? Is
Yes.
that a Greek?
Yep.
Mhm.
Delta and a whole bunch
If
of
you've ever
other.
seen it on a fraternity or sorority house, it's a Greek letter.
Yeah.
Is that right? Well, we seem to have come to the end, unless there's something else I missed, Mr. President. But I would love to hear someday in the future, once you deliver an explanation of the difference between centrifugal and
Oh, that's right. We have to do that. Centripetal and centrifugal.
But just basically, I understand the moon goes around the earth in a centripetal pedal, PEDAL, centripetal. Is that how it's pronounced?
Centripetal.
It's not like taking a bucket of water and spinning it around so it doesn't, the water doesn't fall out on you.
It's just like
That's it. But I was just wondering if something were attached to a rope under the earth, wouldn't that be centrifugal or?
that's centripetal.
Well,
Centripetal is
anyway, okay,
the thing holding the earth and the moon is gravity. That's the rope.
okay,
And it's a real force. It's centripetal. If you were in the rotating system, you would feel a force that would appear to hold you down, like the gravitational force, like the water in the bucket. That's centrifugal. It's not a real force, but it appears to be a force when you're in that non-inertial reference frame.
Right. We call those frame forces.
Right.
Mhm.
And the argument has been for quite a while that gravity may not be a real force, it may be a frame force. Because you can do mathematical transformations that will eliminate gravity from a certain reference frame, but it will only do it for one point at a time. You have to do it at every point with a different transform. So it doesn't really fall into the frame force generality, but there's still speculation about that. But
okay.
for me, it's a real force. If I fall down, the sudden stop at the end gets me. Poor Bruce, and I'm glad to see that he's recovering from his 6 broken ribs. And
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good on Saturday.
And Tim says his knee is already feeling better. He felt a little
Good.
pop and the pain kind of went away.
How did he hurt that?
He was just, he was sitting on a swivel chair and he kind of moved to the side and
just
heard
wrenched.
a little noise.
Mhm. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of our session. So
It does.
yeah.
It does. Gentlemen,
Okay.
thank you very much. And Friday was a success, I think. I enjoyed. How'd you like his speech on dark matter? Did you learn anything?
Oh yeah, it was
Great.
excellent. Very, very good. Very well framed.
All
So
right,
I will post the video of this on YouTube. I apologize for it not being live. I still have a little link to complete, and then we can go live next time.
Okay.
What is that? The 16th.
Your
Yeah, thanks,
webmaster.
Gary.
Your
Thanks for all your
webmaster.
work and the wonderful notes too.
Yeah,
Okay.
now on the 16th, I'm not going to be here for this because that's
Nor
the
will I.
solar at Westmont.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't either, Jerry. Okay.
Next Monday, is that the 16th?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a special group of AP students from Santa Barbara High School coming, and so we're going to do a solar thing.
Yeah.
So Jerry, it'll just be you and me.
That might be. Yeah. We'll see.
I will invite Chrissy on if she wants
Good.
to watch this.
Okay.
Love to get a Sean Kelly. Wouldn't that be awesome? Except he's teaching up at City College.
I think he's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, gang, we'll talk about it next Monday. We'll see who's here. Everybody can jump on board. Thank you on behalf of Santa Barbara Astronomical
Bye,
Union.
guys. Okay.
Take care and bye.
Bye-bye.
Hasta